Ok. I will make the intro and then go on. Salutare, doamnelor și domnilor, sunt Mihai Daniel. Astăzi l-am alături de mine pe one and only Thomas Kralow. Thomas, pleasure to see you again.
Good to see you.
So, not losing your time and his time, I will start with the first question. How hard is to make the first $1 million or euro?
Yeah, that's probably the hardest. Because initially, if, for example, I were to lose everything that I have today, building it back up would be much easier than starting from zero knowledge-wise. Because it's not, at the end of the day, it's not about money as much. It's about the people you know. It's about your understanding of the market. It's about you understanding what do people need, how you can monetize certain things. And the hardest part isn't the money. Hardest part is making you the best version of yourself, the person who is supposed to have money. Because if you are not intelligent, if you don't pay attention to markets, if you don't learn things, you can't make any money. So I think it's more about knowledge. And initial steps, they can be very lengthy, very painful, and that's what separates 1% from the 99%.
True. Have you ever lost more than 1 million?
Oh, constantly. It's like, to be honest, my entire net worth is all in crypto. If you look at my bank account, I just keep a little bit of money for daily expenses and rent, and there's nothing much. So therefore, if Bitcoin goes from 60,000 to 70,000, that's millions of dollars of difference for me. And the same thing as if it goes from 70 down to 40, that's millions of dollars. So therefore, but I don't really pay attention to it much. But considering like losing, yeah, it's part of the game. You cannot always win.
But it is very hard to make the first million. But is it same as hard to lose it?
It depends on you. For me, it was easier to make my second million and my third million than it was my first million. And then keeping it is also quite complicated, but unless you got lucky making your initial 1 million, you should be smart enough not to fucking lose it. So if you got somehow lucky or you really made money fast, which is great, you know, you saved yourself time, but oftentimes it also leads to people not knowing what to do with it. So, and that could make you lose money if you're a bit too careless with it.
Is it crypto market enough for normal people to sustain the life and, you know, like to build a career, like a future, in your opinion?
It's possible. It's not very probable, but it's possible. But I would always suggest using crypto and trading professionally, but in a way of maximizing your current income. If you have, let's say, $1,000 in your pocket right now and you want to change your life and get a Bugatti, that probably is not going to happen. So you really should focus on building cash flow and really having other sources of income, maybe passive or semi-active, because there's no such thing as passive, to be honest. But you need money coming in, and then you can use investments, crypto, trading, whatever, to maximize it and to actually turn if you're making 20K a month or 5K a month, you can turn it into 100K a month at some point. So it all has to be a working strategy altogether. Focus, like me, I have 11 income streams, and that's what I teach at the Game Changer as well, 20 different topics, so people become aware of everything, how all of it works. So the entire world, and then it's easier for them to actually excel. So it's a combination of things.
Do you think, what is the most important, the knowledge, the network, the money? Because, you know, a lot of people, they think they need all of this.
Yeah.
All of these are good, but you will not have from the beginning all of this.
You can, unless you're lucky in some way. Yeah. You build yourself up as you go. It really depends on what your goal is. If your goal is to go from $500 a month to $3,000, you don't need to know Elon Musk. Correct. You know, so certainly if you wanted to go to making $1 billion a year in profit, then probably you need to be around top tier 1 people in the world. But it's a work in progress. Elon Musk did not become Elon Musk overnight. He was at the verge of bankruptcy, like what, 3-4? It's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of times.
So it's huge amounts of money, and you know he persevered through it. So the same thing with any story of any successful individual, regardless how hugely successful or averagely successful. Everybody has a long story behind it that they just went through this filtering process, and that didn't get filtered out because of giving up of emotions or something else.
What do you think about the market? It will change in the next 5 years?
It's really going to depend on so many things. Like people who are making precise predictions for 5 years from now, I can just say in general that my expectation is that crypto is going to be at least 10 times bigger than it is today, and that there's going to be much more mass adoption in terms of what we see in terms of legislation around the world and these legal on-ramps for institutions to go into crypto and Bitcoin and ETFs, and seeing all of this, seeing what Larry Finn does, what all these trillion-dollar asset managers, it just shows me that it still is going to be there. But how parabolic it will be is going to be dependent on so many intricate, peculiar parts of this industry, such as the participants. How hard they're going to push it? What's going to happen with the election? What's going to really happen with global liquidity, M2 money supply? We can project those things. So I'm projecting that Bitcoin in the next 10 years could reach $1 million. But where it's going to be precisely, I just would be lying if I said I knew. Nobody knows.
But in terms of adoption, in terms of a real use case, because now we have a lot of things, we have a lot of NFTs, have no use case. We have a lot of meme coins, have no use case. I mean, it's just gambling. It's you can go casino.
Yeah.
But in terms of, like technology, like Ethereum technology, there is a lot of developers that are using and they pay the gas with Ethereum, which makes sense, in an economical way. But there is a lot of blockchains, a lot of technologies. They have the technology, but they don't have the use case. They don't have the users.
Yeah, that's why you need to focus on projects that actually are solving problems. So certainly, I mean, meme coins, and it's going to probably continue as a hype. Most of them will die, and predominant majority, because community is community, it's big power, but if there is no substance behind it, just like tap games also, I think that this hype is going to die soon, just because we also launched a tap game in Event Horizon. We had 2.5 million users, but it's all of that, people come there, they tap, and they think that because they tap, they're going to make life-changing money, which they might make $10, but considering there is millions of people participating, it's quite stupid to expect anything different. So, and this sooner or later, all these trends, they just evolve. But what will stay is fundamentals. Is, for example, Solana, it's such a hype, it's a meme coin casino, but I look at their fundamentals. Solana has some fundamental projects, some ecosystem important. The project's important for the ecosystem of the entire crypto industry. But if you compare it to, for example, Ethereum, you will see that it's got so much more. Stable coins, DeFi protocols, like even Event Horizon, we were building it on Ethereum, well, Arbitrum, but it's still Ethereum, so on L1 level. So it's paramount. Like when we were comparing liquidity and all the infrastructure to Solana, Ethereum is just top. And that's why, Larry Finn is also going not after Solana, they're going after Ethereum. And second spot ETF is Ethereum. So considering this, I think that the market will wake up to the reality at some point.
For sure. Another question, because the other day we filmed your Bugatti, and now there's no point to ask you what color is your Bugatti, they know. My question now it is, is it a good decision that you bought a Bugatti just before the market starting a huge pump?
Yeah. Well, for one, I didn't really have to sacrifice my portfolio. My portfolio is much bigger than the cost of a Bugatti, so I didn't really suffer from it. But second of all, I've always been an advocate of the fact that you have to live a little. Yeah. I like good life. I like to fly private jets. I like to get my wife diamonds. I like to buy watches for hundreds of thousands of dollars, Bugattis, whatever. Just because at the end of the day, what matters is your intrinsic happiness and that you actually do what you want. You have to be very rational and reasonable, and you have to persevere through difficulties and maintain some kind of level of integrity regardless of stress levels. But you gotta have fun. So that's why I looked at the Bugatti. And I think it still is a good investment. I think that I got a good deal on it. So I paid less than $2 million for it. And I think that they're going to be worth $3-4 million in the next few years. Plus it's good for my marketing, so I can monetize it in terms of marketing. And it's been my dream. So, and there's 3 Grand Sports on the entire internet for sale. Another one that is in this color combination belongs to Cristiano Ronaldo and me. So it was when I learned about it, I was like, okay, sold. I have to have it. So but certainly if it was all of my money, I would not buy anything. I'd be sitting, if I had only $2 million, I'd be sitting somewhere in a simple apartment, just having all my money allocated to crypto, which still 90% is still allocated to crypto at this point, and that I wouldn't do anything. So
I'm asking that because you said that we have to a little bit, and I remember 2021, the bull market. A lot of people, they had the profits on the paper, but not in the hands.
You have to take profits, yes.
Yeah, even if it is, most of people will think that, it's a bad investment, you spend too much, you can do a lot of things. People outside the box, they know everything you should do with your money.
Yeah, so, but they have none.
Yeah. Of course.
They're these, as we call them, the sofa warriors. They're sitting on a sofa with a beer, and they think that they know how the world works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's normal. Yeah.
now coming back to Bitcoin. Do you think that we will reach the all-time high in 2024 or 2025?
All-time high, most like.
A new all-time high.
It's a good question. You know, we might hit it in 2024. Because right now, honestly, if we look at the chart and the accumulation and what is happening in terms of price action, again, nothing is a guarantee. But I would not be surprised that we finally see a good short squeeze and the continuation of the formation to the upside. Certainly we can, since we have so many market manipulators right now and institutions, they can try to fuck us over a little bit. So short term anything is possible, but once the pump starts, I think that the pump will probably surprise a lot of people.
Yeah.
Just because BlackRock is not doing things for no reason.
Of course.
So it's obvious. Really, it's the most obvious trade. The question is short-term perspective, but long-term, even 2024 might surprise us. Because once short squeeze comes, like there is price discovery, and it's not that difficult.
Another question, you know, last bull market we had 2 peaks.
Yes.
Do you think it's possible to have 3 peaks in this cycle?
I can tell you more. It depends on what is going to be happening with the dollar and de-dollarization and the BRICS nations and just global economy in general. If Americans start to really print so much more money, we might go into a super cycle of liquidity, and we might actually see this cycle extend into the next cycle. Exactly. And we just can have this kind of up and down just for a long time right now.
Because, you know, I had some chats with some big whales, and they told me, you know, they will pump the Bitcoin up to 100, like 98, 94, 96. We stop there, crash. Little crash, not like huge, you know, and then continuation. And I think this is logical. It can happen. It's very logical.
I mean, at 100K, we're going to see a rejection 100%. Like a lot of people will be taking profits there.
Yes.
So there will be a rejection, maybe down to 75, 70, like 30% crash. It's always like this. 25 to 40% crashes mid-cycle is normal. So, for sure.
And you are planning to do your exit in this cycle, or you will see?
I'll see. I don't think I will ever do a full exit out of Bitcoin, just considering that if you look at Bitcoin and the dollar, I might be exiting into cars, into some rare watches, maybe even real estate at some point, just to somehow have some safe haven and not have fully allocated to only risk. So, but like exiting into the dollar, I don't care about it. Like,
did you ever pay a huge amount of Bitcoin or, you know, crypto in exchange of expensive watch, expensive car?
Always. Like I paid for Bugatti with crypto, USDT. I paid for all of my watches. I have watches more than $1 million, also all crypto.
All crypto. For example, because, you know, I have a platform, you can buy luxury cars, watches, whatever with crypto.
Yeah.
So let's say in my platform, you see a car that you want and the price is good. Would you buy it? Of
course, yeah. I'd rather buy it because it's so much easier. Really, when I was buying the Bugatti, almost $2 million, it took me 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Done. Khalas.
Exactly.
So that's why I like crypto payments, and there's no stupid questions, at least in Dubai, you know. So certainly whenever there is a possibility of paying, like whenever I book a private jet, I always pay crypto. I pay crypto 95% of the time for everything. So even salaries in our companies, mostly we pay crypto.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is the future.
Yeah, 100%. It's a lot more efficient.
You have any preference for the crypto, I mean for the payments?
USDT.
USDT.
Yeah.
Okay, I hope they will still remain here, but in Europe?
Well, yeah, I mean, they have to squeeze them out. So we're just going to have to hope that it's not going to affect the market too much. Considering that the European market is not the biggest, and it's going to be probably still a smooth transition, so hopefully it's not going to have a big effect.
Okay, now I will ask you something. You know, you have your education program. I have my education program. But, you know, I want to confirm with you the idea that if a buyer, you know, if somebody that watching our channels buy the product and he do nothing will happen.
Well, the thing is that we can provide the instruments.
Yeah.
We can, like, to be honest, I see this among my students. I have more than 10,000 students globally, and I've seen them, some successful, some not at all. Most, quite frankly, didn't even finish the education. So you cannot stand there making sure that the guy or a girl does what you recommended. And we have to also factor in the fact that, as one Wall Street trader has once said, even if you print into the newspaper which stocks to buy, there will be people who will manage to misunderstand it and they will short them. or something so bewilderingly stupid that it will not be even humanly explainable, but it would happen. So considering this, not everyone can be rich. So if there is a person who is driven, who has desire and really wants to push, doing it with a mentor is just simply easier.
Exactly.
But it doesn't guarantee you anything, it's just obvious.
I'm telling you this because, you know, there is a lot of frustration in the internet. A lot of people, they are saying, yo, to buy a course or to sell a course is wrong. It's like you are saying, you know, going to a college is wrong, going to university is wrong. It's not wrong. I mean, it's wrong, you know, to tell, look, if you buy my course or my education, you will have a Bugatti tomorrow. That is wrong.
Yeah.
That is not fair.
Yeah. A lot of coaches do that though, and that's a scam.
Yeah, that's a scam.
Yeah.
But if you tell to people, look, I will teach you how to use moving average. I will teach you how to use, you know, stop loss. I will teach you what is trading view, what is Bitcoin, what is this. That is basic education.
You know, we had a statistic which I found out to be absolutely clear, that we analyzed how much money did our students before coming to us, how much money they've lost in the market. On average, some people lost millions, rarely, but some people lost millions of dollars. They didn't even know what stop loss is, and they were trading with millions of dollars. Some people lost $20, but on average, according to our calculation, on average, people lose 3 to 5K. So if you just teach them proper risk and money management for, let's say, $500, and they end up not losing 5,000, maybe they didn't make any money, but the fact that they will not lose those 5,000 unless they do something stupid is already worth it. So all these steps, like really, for example, my experience in trading for the last 10 years, anyone is welcome to go through the same thing, but even I started with a mentor. I had a mentor. I was learning from someone. Like, people are saying, oh, I can go to YouTube and find all this shit for free. Well, where is your Bugatti?
Exactly.
If you're so fucking smart.
Yes.
Where is it?
Yeah. And you know, the learning process, it is a life journey. I mean,
You always learn.
You always learn.
I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on education and not on university. Fuck that. I've spent it on paying people for their experience. I've been part of different coaching programs of top tier coaches in mindset, in finance, in trading as well, just to see what they're doing. And I've spent a lot of money. Some of the stuff wasn't useful, and it's okay. Especially if you already have experience, but you need to consume information. The world is evolving so fast that if you are sitting there being a greedy piece of shit and you don't want to learn anything and you don't want to spend money on it, well, enjoy being poor, my friend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, a final thought about the market now.
Yeah. My final thought about the market now, as they say, mashallah, please give us the power to move finally, because I'm tired of it. 230 whatever some odd days, 235 days of nothing.
Exactly.
And well, in altcoins, minus 90%. So, to be honest, it's just tiring. That's why I'm saying that people always have to have other income sources, so that in case if the market is shit, that they can actually recoup somehow and just sustain a good life and not have pressure on them just from trading alone.
Mister, was a pleasure.
Daniel, thank you very much for coming.
Vă mulțumesc și vouă, toate cele bune.
Cool. Nice.